last week. It was last week's ESL Open Cup where Clem took down ByuN 3-1. 3-1 in a pretty convincing fashion at that. So again, it isn't completely one-sided. I mean, I say that. I'm looking at their history. 50% win rate. For both players, of course. For both Clem and ByuN in 2023. They are neck and neck in series. And who's going to take it this week? As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gress Farm, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. TvTs are upon us, and so far we have mirrored openers. Double gas here from both ByuN and Clem. Oh boy. Also, predictions are open. Place your bets. You only have, I think, 1 minute from hearing this message to place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's champion. Is it going to be the French Terran or the Korean Terran? Again, 50% win rate. Crazy. Neck and neck, Buffy. Flip a coin. But what's also important to point out is that ByuN is not proxying. I'm sure he will proxy at some point in this series, but for now, we do have a single Rax opener back at home. Likewise, a single Rax opener from Clem as well. So we're going to be working towards those factories, and again, we are mirroring each other. Have some tea. You have some tea. All ends here. For now, we can see ByuN just going to be scouting around the edges of the map, checking the right-hand side, just making sure that everything is on the up and up and he isn't going to get cheesed out. As happened before. So ByuN just wants to make sure he doesn't make that same mistake. As we do see Clem getting across now, he does bring an SCV over to tank a shot. Oh, and he does end up tanking a shot, but the second Reaper arrives just in time. Clem gonna try and delay the CC, and it looks like he will barely delay that CC with the SCV. Nicely done here by Clem, especially if he escapes with this Reaper. Second Reaper is soon to arrive, but ByuN wants to try to cut him off. Isn't able to, though. As Clem gets away and does come out slightly ahead. I say slightly. Both players lost workers. They both lost one SCV each, but Clem was able to delay the CC. Clem's own was not delayed. Back at the main bases, we're just building up our armies. We're not hyper-fixated on Reaper Hellion production. Both players only made 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, a very standard setup here. They're both waiting on top of the ramp as well. The first player to try to push up into a ramp will lose the fight. So both players taking a very defensive position. Both players are lying in wait. And from here, things will settle down. Again, nothing too major, just, a little bit of small advantages here in the early game for Clem. Outside of that, though, ByuN is up 1 SCV. We're getting into our Cyclone production. Ravens as well. Cyclones, they have a pretty pivotal role in the early game. Cyclones, they shut down Reaper Hellion aggression. They shut down Banshee play. And they're just a really strong defensive unit early on. You don't really need too many of them. Typically stop at like 1 or 2, depending on the situation. And now we're getting into tank production. And again, neither player cut any corners. Both players went into their Cyclones, and now we're commencing tanks, now we're getting into Ravens. Everything's looking very normal, very standard. That's why they're both doing the same thing. Oh, and finally, we have our first point of divergence. We have the third CC on the way for Clem. Going for a much more economic variation here. Rushing into that third. Very fast. ByuN back at home still hasn't thought about his own. So the pressure is soon about to be on ByuN to be aggressive and to make up for his later third base compared to Clem. Which is fine. Like, ByuN, he likes being aggressive. He's going into his own third base. Is later than his opponents, but not by too long. Not by too much. I'm also curious to see if ByuN works on medevac production. Something that ByuN loves to do in this matchup is to rely a lot more on drop play instead of Viking control, instead of air control. It can be a risky thing to do. Meanwhile, he does bypass the ramp. He takes down a Reaper. Good trade for ByuN. Getting one Reaper and not losing anything. Not the most important trade, but you know, a trade nonetheless. Or a pickoff nonetheless. So we are getting into this. Reactors are about to finish up. ByuN looking for another way in, but he does run into the Cyclone. He's going to trade out a couple of his units, gets the Hellions, but loses his own. Loses his own Reapers as well. Again, we were talking about that the Cyclones defensively are king, and Clem does shut ByuN down. As Clem already has an orbital, he can start landing it on location. He scans ahead of time. He sees the timing of the orbital of ByuN. Clem knows that ByuN isn't going for a 2-base all-in, and Clem also knows that he's ahead in his own third base timing, so he should be able to land his own on location, and there we go. It is on the way. Meanwhile, back at home, ByuN building up his forces. Stim on the horizon. 1-1 as well for both players. There's medevacs now in production for ByuN. I'm curious if Clem also heads in this direction or if he goes towards Vikings instead. They both have their roles. But especially because of the Stim timing and 1-1, I imagine we're also going to be seeing medevacs as well. Otherwise, we already would have seen said Vikings. The Hellion does go down. With the arrival of these medevacs, there we go. We can start going for drop play. There we go. Likewise, medevacs coming out from Clem as well. So very similar play styles, very similar compositions. Third bases are getting up and running, and finally ByuN is to hit the field. Again, it's been a very standard opener, and it's been very passive as a result. Very macro-oriented. But now that we're entering the mid-game, finally we can be active. Finally we can see some action. Now ByuN, he has plenty of NG on these Ravens. Despite this defensive line, he can break this with good disables. There we go, as ByuN is making his way forward. He does spot a Marine force towards the south behind him. Scans ahead of time. He sees the line of turrets. Sorry, the line of tanks. He sees the 4 CC thrown down. ByuN already has his own 4 CC on location. Oh my god. I love this from Clem. At the highest level, we see this quite a lot. We have just a Marine run by. Just no medevac. Just Marines are making their way into the middle line. And here we go. Clem is collapsing this position. Does get a couple of disables off. A lot of disables. He catches the Ravens, and Clem should shut this down. At the same time, he's across the map. He's getting into the middle line. SCVs are falling. Really powerful moment here for Clem. Looking at the units tab, we have 2 tanks for ByuN, 5 for Clem. Clem, he takes a massive tank lead. Even though the supplies may look similar, and the supplies are similar, ByuN, a lot of that supply are in Marines. Clem has it in tanks. Oh boy. As now it's 6 tanks versus the 2 of ByuN. So again, a really important fight went Clem's way. Now the pressure is on ByuN once again to get some damage done to outtrade his opponent. He scans ahead of time. He sims forward. He wants those tanks, but he will not get them. Fourth base is being taken. It's already on location for ByuN. ByuN takes a worker lead. He's going for some drop play. Clem is keeping up. ByuN going to be rotating over towards that new would-be 4th base. Just trying to wedge himself in between these bases. Yeah, and he does get on top of the CC. Uh-oh, and this is going to be a kill. Clem out of position. He will lose that 4th. At the same time, though, he gets on top of these tanks, and he has completely reset the tank count of ByuN. ByuN, he gets 10 workers. He gets a base. But he's going to be forcing a reaction out of Clem. Clem, he's got 10 tanks. Oh my god. In a head-to-head fight, Clem wins, but can he get the fight that he wants? Can he get the fight that he's looking for? Oh, as already these tanks, they get caught unsieged. 2 tanks go down. A good start for ByuN. Oh, Clem, he did move command a little bit too far forward there. Gonna be losing more tanks. But Clem, he still has enough. At the same time, we do have a double drop into the natural base. Clem losing control of his natural. He's all in. Clem is all in. He has to end the game with this push, but he's running out of Marines. He has tanks, but he has nothing else to support them. And ByuN, he sees that. He drops on top of the tanks. GG gets called. ByuN takes game number 1. GG. ByuN, in one swift move, he killed the 4th, and then he dropped into the natural as well, crippling the economy of Clem, forcing him all in, forcing him to even make some mistakes as well in his attack. And with that, GG. GG, well played. ByuN takes game 1. Ugh. As we're getting into game number 2. Oh. And yeah, honestly, it was a really solid out of ByuN. Like, everything was pretty neck and neck for a while. Clem took a lead initially, and he wanted a main fight. He wanted a straight up head-to-head fight, but ByuN outpositioned his opponents, and that's what a lot of TvT comes down to. Positional play. You know, even if you're behind in the overall tank count, if you can outposition your opponents, then hey, you can take a game. You can win a game. And that's exactly what happened in the last game. ByuN with a more maneuverable army, catching Clem with his pants down. And with that, that's game 1 in the books. But it's a best of 5. It's a best of 5. We have plenty of games ahead of us. Plenty of opportunities for Clem to come back. And I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. As we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And we'll see how things will diverge here in the early game. Do have a double gas opener here from Clem, very similar to game number 1. ByuN going for a, what looks to be, Rax Expand, a more economic opener instead. So ByuN is going to be mixing it up. Clem playing it safe and standard. Very safe standard play here from our red Terran player. ByuN instead going to be looking for a faster expansion. Oh, beautiful. Catching up with the chat. I went all in out of respect, but I hope ByuN wins. GG. Yeah, again, exclamation mark in the chat if you guys want to see the road to victory here for these players. Want to see how they made their way into the finals. And yeah, ByuN going for the Racked Expand. Again, economic opener because he only went for a single Gas Geyser. It does mean that ByuN is going to be the defender this game. At least in the early game, he's going to be stuck at home. He's going to be focusing on preserving his economy. Meanwhile, the pressure is going to be on Clem to equalize, to try to make up for the worst economy that he's going to be working with. As we can see, Clem making 2 Reapers at a time. It was a Reactor first out of our Red Terran. Reactor first into those Reapers. Back at home, we have a 1-1-1 setup here from ByuN. Again, working with very few units as well. As he's getting into his Hellion production. Working himself into it. And I'm really curious to see where Clem stops, because he hasn't seen anything. He hasn't scouted. He doesn't know how standard or economic ByuN has been this game. So he's going to be building up towards 4 Reapers and 2 Hellions. Very similar to the last game. Is he going to make another wave? And it looks like he will make another wave of units. And here we go. Clem is going to be moving out. He has an abundance of units to work with. 4 Reapers, 2 Hellions. He's up against 2 Hellions and 1 Reaper of ByuN. He has 2 more Hellions on the way. Can ByuN hold? Can he defend? It's all going to come down to the splash damage. All going to come down to the positional play, and the volleys go off. Yeah, and it looks like ByuN, he will hold on. He takes down the Reapers, lines up the shots, and ByuN forces this back. Oof. Good trades out of ByuN. Clem is forced back, and yeah, this was not quite worth it here for Clem. ByuN out-traded the hell out of Clem. That's a lot of gas down the drain. You can see Clem trying to work some magic here as he dips a couple of Reapers into the main base. At the same time, Hellion's going to be threatening that natural. ByuN is distracted. He cleans up the Reapers, but the Hellion does slip in and 2 SCVs go down. Pretty good amount of damage. Every SCV counts. Remember, Clem is behind in the workers. He's behind 4 SCVs, and that could have been 6. So a nice move from Clem, doing whatever he can to even things up. Oh, he wants the Hellion, and he will get it as well. ByuN, oh my god, getting some, oh no, loses the Hellion towards the end. He was getting a lot of value, and he still did, but a bit of miscontrol towards the end. We'll lose the Hellion, but regardless, keeping the Marine count low, keeping Clem at bay. As ByuN is getting into his 1-on-1, he's getting his 3rd base on location. He's crazy, oh my god, he's so greedy. 3rd base on location. Oh, he's going to try and force his way into the natural, but Clem, I mean, is going to be able to defend. ByuN overextends. Going to trade out Marine for Marine. Clem does hold. He's got his own 3rd CC well underway. This is a good way for Clem to come back. Again, because he knows that he is behind in the economy right now, this faster 3rd CC will make up for that, which he will eventually be landing on location. Getting into his 5-rack setup. Back at home, ByuN still maintains his own economy. He's trying to get into his 3rd. Getting into his own production, and the game will be settling from here. Cyclones have arrived, and it looks like we will delay the 3rd CC. Very cheeky pickoff here from Clem. Again, this allows Clem to even things up. So he now takes his 3rd base. It's already in orbital. We have mules. But ByuN has arrived. He wants to try to break his opponent here and now. We do have plenty of energy for disables. Here we go. He's wedging himself in between these bases. Despite the fast 3rd base, it is not going to mine. Oh, very quick unsiege from a Clem, but the auto turrets are thrown down, and ByuN, he's busting into the natural base, takes down both tanks. Or he isn't just denying the third base, he's denying the natural as well. This CC taking a lot of hits. Oh my god. Oh, and is the base gonna go down? Is the repairs good enough? Ay, ay, ay. That's a lot of workers are falling. We have some counter disables, but we unsiege just in time. ByuN, he gets out of there. The disables are gonna run out and he's back. Oh my god. He's crazy. Yeah, the boys, they have to be pulled. Auto turrets are thrown down. And even if Clem defends here, he's gonna lose so much in the process. 29 SCVs go down. And now Clem is all in. The pressure is on. He's down to half the worker count of his opponent. He catches the tank. Very nice catch here from Clem. Can ByuN hold on? He has one tank back at home. He's pulling some boys. He's main-arting over, actually. Repairing those Ravens. But again, Clem, he just lost so much here. We gotta go, Papi. We gotta go. What can we do? We've got some medevacs we can go for drop play. Stim is done for our red Terran player. We could try to drop into the main, push in towards the third, try to pull ByuN apart. But speaking of pulling him apart, the sensor tower is done. And now ByuN, he will get eyes on any kind of drop play from his opponent. ByuN is in position. He's scattering out a couple of Marines, getting eyes on any kind of move out. He does spot the double drop. He can get in position. God, ByuN up to 73 SCVs. My god. And again, Clem is sending everything he has across the map. He's got 2 tanks. Got 36. He does have a Marine advantage. He could maybe pull this off. He is ahead in army supply. Clem may be all in, but he still could break this. And here we go. The tanks getting in position. The disables are going to be popping off. Big disables, big anti-armor missile as well. It looks like Clem does not have enough to break this. ByuN takes the fight. He takes the game. GG gets called. And ByuN takes a 2-0 lead in this series. Oh, GG. GG, well played. Pretty sure flamethrowers are against the Geneva Convention. Geneva's gone here in StarCraft, Poppy. They don't exist, not anymore. And here we go. We're getting into this. Getting into game number 3, potentially the final game of this series. Oh. See Rawbacks in the chat. The brave boys. Oh, I mean, the boys, they did what they could, you know, for the cause. For the cause. For Clem. Wasn't enough. And now, game 3 on Ancient Cistern. Getting into game number 3. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion, 1 game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Americas 194 champion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. The pressure is on. He needs to take this game here and now to have a chance at forcing the ace match. It is Clem. He is up against the wall. He needs your help. He needs your support in the chat if you want this finals to go on. He needs you, Papi. He needs you. Oh my god. As ByuN is gonna be mixing it up once again. Last game we had a Rax Expand, more economic opener. This time, double gas. Double gas from ByuN. Very safe opener here. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be surprised if going through his head he's like, oh, what if Clem proxies? What if he like tries to cheese me out? So a very safe opener here from ByuN. Same can be said for Clem. But Clem has been doing this every game so far. He has been going for the double gas. And they both will be mirroring each other. So ByuN doesn't want to take any risks, despite being so far ahead in this series. Is playing standard. We are an ancient system, a very large map, very macro-oriented. But we can still see a lot of aggression applied, especially a lot of pressure applied, especially when we're talking about expanding and taking the third base, just like the previous game. A lot of this game can hinge on whether a third can get up and running. Looks like war crimes back on the menu, boys. Let's go. I mean, you say that. Aren't Marines convicts? I mean, I say Marines. Aren't like all the Terran units convicts outside of like ghosts? And even ghosts are like humans that have been like experimented on. I remember in the Wings of Liberty campaign, you can like look at the lore for like all the units, and it's like I think people that are in Hellbats are like pyromaniacs or something, and they're like hyped up on the gas fumes from the flamethrowers, and like they don't have a mind anymore, sort of thing. You got the Marines that are like convicts, and you know they're doing their time, trying to get time off. Marauders as well. Like if you go into the lore, it's a little bit messed up, but that's what makes it great. It's beautiful. That makes me want to play the Wings of Liberty campaign again. Very nostalgic. Good times, good times. As we're getting into this, and again, we're just going to be chilling here for the time being. We're focusing on gases. Both players are mirroring each other. There's no major divergence yet between our two players. We're just working towards our initial Reaper Hellion. We're getting into Cyclones as well. I guess the biggest difference is that ByuN did opt to go for a Widowmine, and this tells us that ByuN is being very safe, very defensive with this initial mine. Again, ByuN doesn't want this series to go on. He wants a nice, secure win here in Game 3. Speaking of a very fast third TC, that's a third TC after our 1-1-1. ByuN, I mean, historically in this series, it's been Clem who's been taking these faster third base timings, but this time it's going to be ByuN. It's a very safe play and then very economic play out of ByuN as a follow-up. Meanwhile, Clem is still just focusing on his own army production, building himself up. As a result, he is going to have a tank lead. He's going to have a tank lead. He's going to have a Raven lead as well. So Clem will have the stronger army. ByuN will have the stronger economy. Ideally, if he can get this third base up and running. Oh, as this is a two-base all-in. Oh boy, this is ideal for Clem. So Clem is setting up for a two-base all-in. That is a second starport. With this, he's going to be going into very fast Viking production. We can already see the first two Vikings on the way. He's going to make more. With Viking production, he's going to take control of the air. He's going to shut down the Ravens, and he grants access to Liberators for the Liberation Zones to bully back ByuN and to force him back. ByuN needs to scout. This is worst case scenario for ByuN because of how economic and greedy he's being right now. He needs to realize what's happening so he can get into his own second starport and just hyperfixate on army production. Like, ByuN is being so greedy. He doesn't just have a third CC, he's working on 1-1, working on double upgrades. Upgrades that may not even impact this game. ByuN still hasn't seen anything. He hasn't scouted anything. He doesn't know what's happening. Oh boy. The pressure is on. And we'll see if ByuN can somehow react in time and defend in time. Again, typically the way that you would defend against this, if you scout this ahead of time, you throw down your own second starport so you can kind of try and keep up with Viking production and vie for map control. We scan the we scan the main third base is being taken. The all-in is coming. And ByuN now sees this. He saw the Viking count. He should be able to piece this together. And I don't think he can hold on to this third. He's going to try to. Reapers dip into the main or into the natural. They're going to be forcing some reinforcements back home. But here comes Clem. He's up in tanks, up in Vikings. The Ravens are going to be zoned away. They cannot impact this at all. One Raven goes down already. And yeah, ByuN turns back around with his third. He's going for a double drop across the map. A bold move. But Clem is not slowing down. Takes down a tank. He's going for the second. Just pushing forward. Clem is getting his own third CC behind this if he doesn't end the game. But he should, as he's just bullying ByuN back into his own natural. At the same time, we do have that double drop coming in. ByuN is hinging his life here on this double drop. The boys, they have to be pulled. That's a lot of boys, though. Likewise, the boys are being pulled here on the front lines as well. We're getting on top of the tanks. But ByuN only has 2 Marines. ByuN does not have enough. Meanwhile, across the map, likewise, he kills every single SCV. Oh my god. This double drop from ByuN, the MVPs. Can he pull this off? Can he survive, though? Again, this is a terrifying army that's busting into the main base. ByuN, he's being forced further and further back. At the same time, ByuN is also camping the production here of Clem. Oh, the Marines are distracted, though. A little bit of miscontrol from ByuN. The boys are being pulled once again. Can ByuN hold? It looks like he will. He's dropping on top of the tanks with the tanks they on siege. And ByuN is losing everything. Likewise, so is Clem. But Clem has an army looking at the units tab. Clem, he runs out. He taps out. He doesn't have enough. GG gets called. ByuN holds. And he kills everything across the map. I was going to go to the unit tab here. Yeah, we only had 2 Vikings left. GG. Oh my god. How? Everything was working against ByuN. Everything was working against him. He had a fast third. He had 1-1 on the way. ByuN went for a Hail Mary play. He went for the double drop across him, and he won. He won the game with the double drop. Oh my god. Both players went down to 3 SCVs. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure Clem had 2 Vikings and a tank, and yeah, he didn't believe. He taps out. GG, well played. ByuN is going to be this week's ESL Open Cup Americas champion. GG, he's a madman. I can't believe it. I can't believe he won that game. Oh my god. GG. Congratulations to ByuN. My condolences to Clem. Everything was working well for him. Everything was lining up. The stars aligned for Clem to win that game. But alas, yeah, he just wasn't able to muster up a defense back at home. He wasn't able to trade efficiently enough either with his all-in, and wow, GG. I'm just a little bit in awe. I'm a little bit in awe right now as to what just happened. Oh my god. This is the army graph, by the way. This is the army graph. This is just how far ahead, how much Clem had going for him, how little ByuN had. Crazy. That's the workers as well. Oh my god. GG, well played. And with that, congratulations to the champions as well, to the people that predicted ByuN to win. With that, we are done for tonight. With that wraps up ESL Open Cup Americas. Congratulations to ByuN for getting his revenge. Fun fact, last week, these two faced off in the finals, and Clem won. Clem was last week's champion. This time, it's ByuN. So congratulations to our Korean Terran. With that, we are done for today. I did say today, usually we have a broadcast in the afternoon as well, but I'm just taking things slow. You know, I'm still not at 100%. I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting there. We could do a replay cast, but we'll we're easing things into WTL. World Team League is going to be coming back this weekend, and what a weekend it's going to be. So yeah, just let me quickly double check. So tomorrow, our next broadcast is tomorrow. It's going to be Kung Fu Cup, the return of Kung Fu Cup, WTL Kung Fu Cup even. Tomorrow in over 24 hours. It's going to be at 9 p.m. AEST, 8 p.m. KST, if you guys are familiar with those time zones. We have Thursday free, so we may take Thursday off, or we may do something else. We may have a replay cast, or we may do something else with that. We could even do an ESL EU replay cast. Possible. For now, we don't have anything slotted for Thursday. Friday is day 1 of WTL, and WTL is a 3-day event, so it's going to be over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And oh my god, the weekend is stacked. We have KSL, GPO, Sparkling Tuna Cup, World Team League. A lot of StarCraft is happening over the weekend, and because I may take Thursday to just recover and rest up and get ready for a weekend full of StarCraft. So yeah. If you enjoyed, consider following us. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We are all things CranKy Ducklings. We do have a Patreon as well if you want to support us. We have a Twitch that you can subscribe to. You gain access to replay packs and emotes as well as yeah, all the money that we make here on Twitch and on Patreon goes towards our events, goes towards our tournaments. So check it out. Consider checking it out and consider supporting us. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for everything. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who exactly? Let's check. Who is streaming right now? We may raid Dave Testa or Sort of. I know Sort of is live at the moment. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of a gander at who's live, and we'll give someone our love. So stick around to give another streamer a chance. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some Kung Fu Cup action. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye. Bye. Hasta luego. Hasta luego.